2, 3. Hello, welcome to Sea Glass Christmas Trees with Tammy. I am going to be your host for this virtual pre-recorded event. I'm very excited to bring this finally to the platform. I have been wanting to do this for so long, but I just have two little babies at home. I have a 2-year-old, just turned whisper of a 2, Amelia, and I have a 3-year-old, Benjamin. So you could just imagine that being a mom of 2 littles, 3 and 2, is a lot. Plus I run a full business. I've been doing this since 2015, doing paint night events, craft night events, all the things. During the pandemic, I did a lot of virtual events. Some of you might remember me from then because I did so many different experiences like chunky blanket, resin, candle making, hot cocoa bombs, you name it, I did it. But finally, I have been approved to do some pre-recorded craft events, which I'm so excited about. So today we're gonna do sea glass Christmas trees, and I'm gonna be teaching you how to make them. I have never done this actually on the platform yet. I haven't offered it yet. I've done them live here in Long Island, New York, but you're gonna have the opportunity now to get to do this craft with me. So hopefully you purchased my kit through the site, so you have all the supplies that I do, but if you did buy your own supplies, that's okay. You probably will still be fine making your tree. So let's get into it. Of course, as I was doing my intro, my 2-year-old woke up from her nap. So I had to press pause and go give her a baba, and she went back to sleep. So anywho, let's dive on in. Let's talk about the supplies that you have maybe received from me. If you haven't received them from me, these are some supplies that you will need today to make your tree. You're gonna obviously need a hot glue gun. That is super important for this event. If you don't have a hot glue gun, I did put on my listing for supplies. You could also use E6000 glue. This bottle should be more than enough for one tree. It's the 2.0 fluid ounce amount. The only thing with the E6000 glue is that it does have a smell, but it does last very long. It will make anything stick to anything for a very long time. But I prefer to use the hot glue just because I'm in my house, and I have used E6000, don't get me wrong, in my home, but I just go for the hot glue because it's quick, it's easy, it dries fast, and it's just easy. So I also like to purchase, along with the hot glue gun, longer hot glue sticks. So the longer hot glue sticks are nice because it allows you to hot glue for longer without having to switch your sticks so quickly. So anytime I'm doing a hot glue project, I like to go for the longer hot glue sticks. They even sell hot glue sticks that are on a coil, so you can get yourself a 5-foot coil and you won't even have to switch out your hot glue for the entirety of the project. Next thing you might need is a scissor, maybe not, I don't know, probably not. Another thing that you don't really need it, but it's just nice to have it if you're doing glass or tile work, is a tile cutter. It's a little intimidating to use it at first, but it's really not a big deal. I did leave a link for this on Amazon because I don't have enough of these to sell, and they're kind of expensive. So when you're using a tile cutter, this is what it looks like up close. It has the two circle discs, and they have little blades on the ends, so you just gotta be careful. I'm gonna just move some of my supplies over when you're doing it. I'm gonna get into how to cut it more, but let me just show you really quick how you cut it, but I will show you how to really cut it, but just give it a little, see, I still make the face. Sometimes it goes flying, I don't know, but that's a tile and a glass cutter. That's a nice tool to have in your kit if you're crafting. Another thing that I did not send, but you could have gotten as a suggestion, some mini pearls to decorate your tree afterwards. I have little jingle bells in here. And then another thing that I suggested, but it's not in your kit, you could have gotten it, is tiny little seashells if you want to decorate your tree with that as well. They're just extras. The tree doesn't need it. Actually, all of my tree samples that I have here don't have decorations on them. But when I did a class in person, I did bring decorations, and a lot of the girls decorated their trees, and they came out really cute. So I just like to add that in my intro. So this is a finished 9-inch, nope, this is a 6-inch tree. This is a finished 6-inch tree right here with the lights and the starfish. It's so beautiful. And for this one, I actually hot glued the little light fixture to the bottom of the wood birch base. I'll show you how to do that later on. So then you can just turn the light on and off. And then I had an idea, and I'm like, well, it's a little wobbly, so what am I gonna do? So I actually went up adding little little hot glue dots to kind of balance it out, and it stands perfectly fine now on its own. You can turn it on and off. And then when I hot glued the light switch on, you have to do it so that the screws are facing outwards. So that way, if you ever need to switch out your battery in the future, you can do that. Because if you hot glue it with the batteries facing in, then you're gonna have to take it apart. All right, so I'm gonna turn that on and leave that right here. Right there. So I have a couple sizes going on here. This is the 6-inch, right? Is that the 6-inch? Did I do the 9-inch? What am I looking at here? What size did I do the other day? Hold on. Oh, maybe I did do the, yeah, that is a 6-inch, but it just looks taller because when you do the glass, it makes it get a little bit taller. So even though it's a 6-inch, it's gonna probably wind up being a little taller, almost like a 7-inch. You see here, this is the 6-inch. This is where it ends, but it's gonna end about up here because of the sea glass. So it gets a little taller, which is nice. This one here is the 12-inch. My starfish did fall off, so I'm gonna have to re-put that on. But this is the 12-inch tray, beautiful, glorious. And then this is the 9-inch tray. So you can see all three sizes together. If you ever wanna like make another one, I probably will have more kits available on my website. I need to work on that. But this is 12, 9, 6. It does look really beautiful when you have all three together as a collection. But we're gonna start with whatever tree that you purchased for today. All right, so I'm gonna put that to the side. I had to finish that one, we'll get into that. And I just wanna show you one more thing before we get into the rest and starting. So this is something that I made with the extra pieces that I had. So when I was making sea glass Christmas trees, I had so many tiny pieces that were left and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? So I actually have craft shows that I sell stuff at, but this would be a fun little project for you to make, even if you collect sea glass on your own when you go to like the beach or on vacation. So you get yourself a little clay pot. You have to fill it with like foam or something. You have to fill inside of it with something because you can't just put the sea glass in there. And then I used hot glue and then I just arranged sea glass to make it look like a succulent because I do own my succulent shop. It's my other business and I sell these. Actually, it shows. But you could make this because this is super fun and easy. So if you have leftover sea glass at the end of this project, you can make these adorable sea glass succulents and give them as gifts or keep them for yourself. Love it, love it, love it. I don't know why there's a fire truck that is going by. I don't know if it's Santa Claus, it's the holidays, or if there's I like to use the hot glue. I have used E6000. That is totally fine too. Your kit came with hot glue sticks, so hopefully you have yourself a hot glue gun. You can get E6000 glue at any craft store, Michael's, Amazon. It's on the link that I put on the listing for this event today. And you gotta be careful when you use the E6000. I just realized probably gonna have to get some kind of tweezer. I must have left a little glue in the cap and I can't get my cap off. So that's another oops. So I have for the 12-inch trees, there's a larger birch slice base. Another option that you can do, which looks really nice, is you can also put your sea glass Christmas tree in a pot, which I think looks really lovely. You can see that on my Instagram page. Some of my customers did that. So you can see here, you can put it in a pot. And then you can also hide the light inside of the pot. So that's another cute way and it makes the tree a little bit taller. So this is a 4-inch white ceramic pot. I might put these on my site for purchase, but if you can find yourself a white or any color really, a 4-inch ceramic pot, see how cute that looks? That's adorable. Then you'll also get these little fairy lights just like this. Before I get into this, because I know people sometimes get ahead at the events, so I want to just give you a little tutorial on these lights because I don't want you to ruin them. I'll take them out of the bag. Just make sure they work. You're going to pull the little tab out, click them on. They'll be good to go. Now, when you're unwinding these fairy lights, just go very slow. That's the key to your success. You're going to just unwind them just like this. They're kind of like wrapped around once, and then you're gonna slowly go like this and undo them. Now there's two ways that you can do the fairy lights. I might try a different way for this video today, but you can do the lights at the end if you want them on the outside of the tree, or you can wrap them on the tree first before you put the sea glass down, and then the lights will be underneath the sea glass. So you can do it either way. You're gonna start from bottom up and then work your way to the top. So I think I'm gonna do it this way today for the online video. If you don't want your lights to be wrapped underneath and you want them on top, they would look like this, and you would be wrapping that around afterwards when your tree is all done. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by taking my wood birch base, and I actually have to unwrap my cone from the plastic. Make sure you take it out of its plastic. Okay. And I'm gonna give a nice dollop of hot glue right to my birch slice. Now, if you don't like the birch slice, you don't have to use it. You can go turn this into a Christmas ornament or something, but I just think it looks so cute with the wood birch slice on the bottom. I don't know, looks nice to me. There's somewhere for your tree to sit on. I'll take that and try to center it as best you can. And you're gonna press down. Just like that, press down. Just like that. Okay, so it's pretty centered. The birch slice is not like perfectly round, so if you see that it's like a little off-centered, that's okay, because it's not perfectly round. It's a tree branch. So just try to center it as best that you can. Okay, I'm back. So every so often I just like to try to get up to make sure that the camera is still on, because I don't want to be like making this and then find out that the camera shut off. I'm gonna stick this right over here. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna find our sea glass. So you have your bag of sea glass. You can actually just get like a little tray or put something down. I put mine on a tray so it doesn't get everywhere. You can put it in a bowl like this, but I kind of like to see what I'm working with. So I kind of dump it out onto a tray so I can figure out. Now, if you have a type A personality, you're gonna just have to let that go. You're not gonna be able to pick perfect pieces every time. I mean, you are in the confinement of your own home, so you really could take your time, and you can press this video at any time and hit pause to figure out what you want to do. Maybe you want to color code and sort all your pieces out to see how many you have of each. I don't know. Whatever you want, that is your decision. This is your project at your own home, at your own leisure, and that's the beauty of a pre-recorded event. So you can press pause at any time, or you can rewind. So I'm just gonna kind of lay it out here on the tray to kind of see what I'm working with for my pieces. And then as far as, like I said before, with type A, because I'm type A, so I know how this goes. You kind of obsess over sometimes of like trying to pick perfect pieces to fit perfectly together, and then the colors, and then to not have the same color next to each other. I promise you that if you just can go free flow on the tree and just worry about picking up a different color every time and not so much about where you're placing it, because as you're going up the tree, you're gonna get to some spots where the tree is sometimes it's gonna hit the same color, like you see right here, or you see I know it's on here somewhere else because I showed a guest that I did that on something else, but it's not a big deal, because overall when you're looking at the tree as it is, it's beautiful. Oh, here, like here, this is all the same color glass, but you can't tell once the whole tree is in its entirety and it's finished. So we're gonna start from bottom up. We're gonna use our hot glue. There's two ways that you can actually do this tree. I have a new preferred method, but there is an other method that you might have seen somewhere or whatever. So I'm gonna show you my preferred method, and then I'm gonna show you a different method that you can do. It kind of branches out the tree more. This is the old version that I did where I kind of stuck the pieces into the mold. And then these two are my new versions where I kind of laid the glass down flat. So if you're using E6000, you're gonna wanna do the version where you're sticking it into the foam. And if you're using hot glue, you could do either, but you definitely can do the flat lay version, okay? So I'm gonna take my hot glue, I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna pick a piece, and I'm gonna be careful, hot glue is hot. So if you have not really worked with hot glue too often, just be careful, because you can get burned. It is hot. So you're gonna take your piece, you're gonna figure out like where I'm gonna be here for the video, and then you're gonna find a spot at the bottom, and you're going to just lay down and press it in a little bit, and then it's just gonna grip on just like that. Pretty simple. I did say I was gonna put the lights on this one first, right? So maybe I'll do that quick. Try something different. Now when I'm doing a live show, I do go back and forth like this quite often. So it's interesting when you're doing pre-recorded. So what I think I'll do, yeah, let's do this. I want to glue this to the bottom. So like I said, I'm going to try to find the most centered spot. You don't have to do this. You can put your tree lights on last, totally fine. But for mine, I'm going to do it this way this time. if you do it last, you're just gonna do the same exact thing, but you're gonna do it at the very end. So I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna put it on with hot glue, center it, press it down and hold it for a second. Okay, so that it doesn't go anywhere. Now this is probably gonna balance. I'll go back later and do those hot glue feet. Let me see if it stands by itself, level. Yeah, so it is pretty level anyways. Let's see, a little wobbly. So we'll go add that in later on. You wanna really press it in there to make sure that it's flat. Let me see if I put it on here. What is making it? Yeah, so you see it wobbles a little bit, so that's why we add the little glue feet on later. All right, so now that that's on, I'm going to take my wire and I'm gonna just do a little dollop of glue. Not much, just do a tiny little bit, just to kind of hold that wire in place. Hold it for a second. You could blow on it like that. And then I'm gonna hold on to it and then give it a little bit of tension. Let's turn it on so it'll be fun to watch. I'm gonna give it a little bit of attention and I'm going to slowly, as I'm holding on and kind of pulling at the same time, I'm gonna go around just like this and I'm gonna swirl up the tree. Now, I believe this is gonna look cool because it's gonna be underneath the glass, so it'll just glow. And then obviously you're not gonna want to put a piece of glass like right on top of one of the lights, but you'll be like more on top of the wire. All right, that's gonna work out pretty good, I believe. If you want to go all the way to the tippy top, just spread it out a little bit more. And then what I'm gonna do, you could add like little glue dots if you want along the way, but I think it doesn't need it because it has tension. I'm just gonna take that and I put a little glue, give it a second, blow on it, and it should stay. Let's see. You do have to wait a sec because the glue is a little hot. So when we're doing the bottom, we're gonna be working our way all the way around the bottom, and then we're gonna go layer by layer by layer by layer all the way till we get to the very top of the tree. All right, give that a little, see, perfect. It's ready to go. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, as I am going, okay, so we're here, okay, we're gonna go into the next piece. Again, like I said, don't be too crazy about what comes next. Just try to find like what piece you think looks nice. I always try to like decide which way I'm gonna put the glass. Like, I don't really put like the super, sometimes I put the super pointy pieces outwards, but I'm more putting out the pieces that are pointy but more rounded, if that makes sense. So if I was to pick up a piece that was like, let's see, like maybe like this piece, I wouldn't put this piece outwards. I'm probably gonna put this piece outwards, but you just do what you wanna do. It's like choose your own adventure because it's your tree. So I'm not gonna layer my glass on top of it. I'm gonna put it right next to it, okay? That's important because we don't want it to be too bulky. So I'm gonna layer it right next to it just like that. So I'll put some glue on my piece. You don't need a ton of glue. Just a little bit right at the top. Remember, it's hot, you can get burned, be careful. And I'm going to press it into the foam. Now make sure your piece isn't lower than your birch slice because you don't want it to like hit the table and you still want to see that little wood slice a little bit, right? So just make sure you pay attention to where that piece goes. All right, I'm gonna grab my next piece. So this is why I like to spread it out on the table because I need to kind of see I got going on. And they're all different sizes and all different. Okay, here's my next one. So this piece is totally different than these two, but it's gonna look great when it's all together. And if you find yourself, with some smaller pieces, it's okay. This is gonna get layered. It's gonna be totally layered. I'm gonna just dump this one out too. I need some extras. And as you get more to the top, you're gonna probably have a lot more of the smaller pieces going together. Okay, so that is a good color. That'll go there. This is interesting when you're teaching it like this and then also making it at the same time. Okay, that goes there, press it in. I'm gonna do a whole 360 maybe I want to go back to the dark blue again, or because I did blue. You can kind of see there's usually about 4 to 5 different shades of sea glass in your kit. So you can start with the one color and then just keep repeating back around and around. But if you run out of a color, then sometimes you're like, oh, I ran out of a color, and then you're like, what do I do? So I just try to always pick a different color next. I don't necessarily do a pattern. Sometimes I do, but it's not necessary because, like I said, you're gonna wind up hitting the same color over again anyways. All right, so I'm coming around the bend. Okay, that looks good there. And then as you're working up your tree, if you find that there's any gaps, you can always go back in and hot glue a piece in to like fill in a space if you need to. Okay, this is gonna go here. I love the dark blue cobalt color, it's very pretty. Now this tree, we'll see how popular it is, but I can offer this tree after the new year as a Valentine's Day tree because they do make this glass in pink and purple. Wouldn't that be so pretty, like a Valentine's Day color? I like that piece. I'm gonna put it to the side. It would be so pretty, I think. All right, so when you get to the spot that has like the wire, you can glue right over it, like it'll be fine. Just find the spot, and you should just glue right on top of it, it'll be fine. The only spot that might be a little harder to press on is like where it's wrapped in plastic, but watch, it's still good to go. Just take it like that, and then you're gonna press it in, just like that. I like to leave the lights on, make sure that they're all good to go. You can leave them on. Take it, press it. All right, maybe I'll do a time lapse for the next couple rows. So once you get in the groove, I'm gonna get to that next row and show you what to do. But when you get in the groove, you can see it's pretty, I don't know the word, monotonous, what's the word? Usually when I'm live, someone gives me the word if I'm looking for a word. It's interesting when you're chatting with your phone. Okay. I think at the end of this video too, that might ask you like, how was your pre-recorded event? So be nice to me. Give me a good rating. This is the first time I've done pre-recorded. I've always taught live, but you know, this is nice for me. If I can get this to work for the virtual, I'll make more of these. I do so many crafts. If I could figure this out, this will be my first go at it. If I can figure this out, I can offer so many crafts to you guys. All right, so that's the first go at it right there. Okay, so fun. And then when you put it down on the table, well, let me back it up. When you put it down flat on the table, see, it doesn't touch, it's good to go. Now, we're gonna go into the next layer. You're just gonna think about like when someone does brickwork, and you're gonna go like in the opposite spot. So wherever there's like a crack in between, like where the two pieces meet, that's where the new piece is gonna go, if that makes sense. So I'll take a piece, let's see, you'll find maybe this nice blue piece, and you see it will go, you're gonna layer it. So now we're starting to get to where like that light is. So I'm just gonna make sure I glue right above that light so that that light is beneath that blue piece right there, okay? I'm gonna take my glue, and I'm gonna press that right above the light. And when you do that, it's going to cover the light and it's gonna cover that little crack, and then it's gonna make a new layer. We're gonna take this all the way around again, and we're just gonna go piece to piece to piece all the way around again, okay? And when you have a tile cutter, so a lot of my pieces are already small because I've already kind of taken care of it, but if you have a tile cutter, if you have a really large piece in your kit, if you need to like cut down things, let me show you how to do that really quick. So if you have a tile cutter, take it out. I'm gonna show you how to use it. Should have did that in the beginning. So what you do is you take your glass just like this, okay? Turn it, face it down. Do not point it up because you don't want the glass to go flying to the sky in your eye, anything like that. Some people do wear eye coverage when they use glass cutters, but I think you're gonna be okay because you're not cutting a lot of glass. So you're gonna take your hand just like this, cover it so that it doesn't fly towards you or anyone that you're maybe doing this project with, and you're going to just squeeze just like this, and it just breaks right in half. It's perfect. Now, if you wanna get really fancy, sometimes you can they have other tools that you can like score the glass first and then you cut it, but we're not that fancy today. So just take it and you give it a little, it's easier actually if you hold it at the end of, gives it more pressure, I guess the word is. So you can make sure you hold it at the end. You like this, you squeeze, you make the face because you're scared, but then once you squeeze it, you realize it's not a big deal. Okay, back to the tray. You're gonna take your glue, put it on, press it down, just like that. Okay, glue, put it on, press it down, just like that. All right, so I think you get the concept of hot glue and then doing the flat lay around. You're gonna take that all the way around. Maybe I'll do a little time lapse to put in here for this, but then when the time lapse is over, we're gonna come back and I will show you how to do this version where the pieces kind of stick into the tray. So you can see here, I got to the very tippy top, but I have to TP it now. So when you get to the top of the tree, and oh, as you saw in my time lapse, I had another technique that I was doing, which I find if you're trying to do it with speed, you can also put the hot glue right onto the foam cone and then stick the pieces onto it as well. So it's slower if you put the hot glue onto each piece and then stick it, but if you just do like a section of hot glue, stick, 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 section of hot glue, stick, 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 it goes a lot quicker. So you might have saw me do that as well. So when I get to the top up here, I need to make a TP. So I'm going to put some glue up on the top. I had to replace my hot glue stick like 3 times during that little time-lapse session. So I'm just gonna take a couple of little pieces and I'm gonna actually stick them straight in right here because I'm gonna TP around that. Ooh, that was my first burn. Did anyone get burned during their little sesh? So I put like 3 little pieces up in the top right there because I'm gonna TP other pieces around that. You're not gonna see those, they're gonna be on the inside. I'm gonna try to find pieces that are maybe a little bit bigger. Now you don't wanna have this piece like TP down low because then it's gonna look like heavy on the top. So you almost have to have it TP up higher so that it continues with the flow up through the tree. Okay, so find where that spot would be. Then you're gonna take your glass. I did have to finish doing that little top part up there. Okay, right here, I just had to finish this out all the way. It is, my tree is probably heavier on one side. So it is leaning to the one side because I did put that fairy light on the base bottom. And I'll show you in a second how to level it out because we're gonna make little feet with hot glue on the bottom at the very end of this. So I'm just gonna put this here, here, here. This piece might be a little too big, we'll see. Okay, now I'm gonna find pieces that I can kind of TP up some glass to finish it off. And this is also what's gonna give a little bit more height to your tray. Okay, so that goes in there like that. So let me turn this around. So you can kind of see from a side angle that it's up higher, but it's TPing in like that. Okay, that one's gonna TP in right here. You do want to find pieces maybe that have a little bit more of a point for the TP part. And you're gonna actually be sticking the starfish on the tippy top, so that'll hide some if there's any imperfections. So that's pretty much it for the top. It's pretty easy to do, see? And if you feel like you need to fill in some gaps, you just get some more sea glass and attach it and fill it in. Like right here, I feel like I just want a support piece. And you'll just, it's like flickering every time because it must be hitting something on the bottom. But after you are all finished, you're gonna wanna go and just make sure you check that you don't have any gaps or anything like that that you need to fill in. I can see I have a little gap right here. So I'm just gonna take a little glue, take a piece, stick it in. But I mean, when you do the technique of laying it down flat, it really covers most of the foam. You don't really see much afterwards. And with the technique of putting the lights underneath the tree, you don't have to worry about doing the lights afterwards, but you can if you want to. So it's really your own adventure. And then the last thing you'll do for your tree is put on your starfish. So you're gonna have your starfish, try to find the spot where the legs are open the widest. That's probably gonna be the easiest spot to glue on. So I find the easiest, so like, see obviously like this is more narrow, more narrow, more narrow. This is the widest opening on the starfish. None of the starfish really have an equal opening. They're all pretty much, I mean, they might, but if that's the case, then it should fit nicely. So pick the side that has a more wider opening. You're gonna put a little hot glue on the little triangle underside, and then you're just gonna place that right on the top of your tree. Just like that. And it is adorable. Okay, and then after that is all dry, we're gonna flip it upside down to add those feet. I'm gonna do that in a minute. Let the starfish dry for a sec, because I wanna show you the other technique that I did to make the 12-inch tree here, where I stuck it into the foam, which is another thing you can do. But I have been doing it like this lately, and I do prefer how that looks. So I would recommend doing it that way. But you can also do it this way as well. This kind of just makes it where it branches it out more. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna find my piece. You'll take your piece like this, and whatever piece you choose and stick in is like the same piece that you have to stick back into that same hole. So the bigger pieces are obviously at the bottom, smaller at the top. If you get a batch of sea glass that has more smaller pieces, definitely go for the flat lay version. If you get a nice variety of sea glass, because I really can't control like what I get, because it's coming from, I don't pick this sea glass. So if you think Tammy went out and picked sea glass for all of the customers that are making these sea glasses through this Christmas season, I did not. I get this from a wholesaler who makes them for us. They tumble them, color them, all that. It is sea glass in a way, right? It is. It would be very expensive. These trees would probably be like $1,000 each if I was out there picking out the sea glass. So it's a craft, and it's still beautiful. So you're gonna take your piece and you would take it to the tree, press it in. You kind of like do like a little, it's almost going in like on a diagonal, like up and in. So you're gonna wiggle it up and in, but you do have to be careful, especially as you get to the top of the tree, just like that. And it actually will stay in the tree by itself before you put any glue on it. But the glue is obviously so that it doesn't fall out, because you could take it out. So then what you could do after you wiggle it in is you could take your glue and you're just gonna shoot some right into the hole, and then make sure you put in the same side that you wiggled in, just like that. I'll do it again. So find a piece that you like. Now when you do this version too, you do end up with more gaps, and so you do see more of the white foam, but maybe you like that because maybe you think that the white foam looks like snow, like in between the tree branches, right? So I'm gonna wiggle that in. Be careful not to like chop off the top. And I'm gonna put a little glue in the hole. And you could do the same thing with the E6000 glue. You just shoot a little E6000 in the hole, stick it in, and then it will stay. It's gonna dry, and it's gonna dry right in there. And you'll take that all the way to the top of the tree. But if you do have smaller pieces in your kit, this will take you quite some time. This will definitely be like a longer project if you have smaller pieces. Not a big deal. Maybe you want to take a while doing it, but if you have smaller pieces, what I would say is try to don't overlap them like on top of each other. Like you want to like kiss them together like sisters, going around on each layer. Okay, and you don't have to shove them in that deep. They really just need like a little well to be able to stick them in. It does not have to be super deep. I already did that color. Okay, so I'm just kind of making a little spot. Glue. Find the same piece that I just did that with. All right, so that's how you do the ones where you're sticking it into the tree. This one is the flat lay. Now we're gonna come back to this one right quick. So my starfish it's pretty sturdy. I mean, if it gets knocked off, you can just glue it back on again, or if you are using E6000, it will never come off. E6000 holds on to everything. So to do the feet, you're going to take your base, flip it over, okay? I'm gonna try to do this the best I can on camera. And you're gonna make basically like dollops of glue. So let me show you on the sample. So I did dollops of glue. You can see right here. Hopefully it's focused. And you're almost like gonna layer it in a way because the first layer won't be enough. Let it dry and then dollop it again. So I'm gonna go, you want it to almost be the same height as your little light pack. That's how you're gonna get it to be level. So I'm gonna go one, you could do 4. You could even do a whole rim. I mean, you have the hot glue. You could do whatever you want. If you have plenty of hot glue left, you could do anything. But I'm just doing like little feet on the bottom. So I'm gonna twirl that. I'm gonna give it a minute. I can see that it's not to the height yet of the bottom of the light switch. So kind of give it a little second there. I hope you really enjoyed this project with me today. After you're all finished making your tree, you can go in with things like I said before. If you have like little pearls, or if you have tiny little seashells, that is a really cute way to decorate your tree. Another thing that will take time. Be careful if you're using hot glue and you're doing tiny pearls because you don't want to burn yourself. Maybe you want to get yourself a set of tweezers just to kind of place them on. I didn't have tweezers the other night at my live show, so I said, all right, this might be our solution. You're gonna put a little dollop of hot glue on, and then you're gonna throw your pearl on and let it land on the glue and then tap it. That was my best solution for not having a tweezer, but it worked and they thought it was funny. So if you don't have a tweezer, you can do a dollop of glue, throw the pearl or the seashell on, it'll catch the glue and it'll stay on there. You know, you gotta make do sometimes. So we're gonna just go ahead and add a little bit more on. And it looks like it's high right now, but the hot glue will fall down and settle into itself and kind of level. It doesn't have to be perfect either. And what I did also is I had a cool counter because hot glue doesn't really stick to the cool counter. After it was almost dry, like it has to be almost dry, I just tapped it really quick on the counter, not wet. It can't be like sticky. And then it just pressed it in and flattened it to the same height. So this should be good. You can see here, it's not perfect yet, but once it dries almost completely, I just give it a little tap down and then it's good to go. And you got your little feet so that it's nice and level and beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this. If you get a email for a review of my pre-recorded event, please go ahead and fill it out. Give me all 5 stars. If you didn't like your event today, just skip the email, don't do it. I am Tammy Bishop. I've been doing these events for the past 10 years. You can request me for a virtual private event. If you're not in my local area, I am in Long Island, New York. So I will do events here in Long Island and the tri-state. So sometimes I'll travel to New York City. If you know anyone that wants to do an event live in New York City, I will come to New York City. But other than that, you can catch me on virtual. I have many different experiences and kits that can be shipped out to you. Yeah, I've done it all. Probably have about, I don't know, 30 something experiences in my arsenal. If you are interested in seeing what's in my catalog, you can email me at paintnightny@gmail.com. That is paintnightny@gmail.com. That'll get me directly. And my name is Tammy. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day with me, making your sea glass Christmas trees. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And maybe I'll see you again on another pre-recorded event. So I'm gonna take this and flip it forwards. Can see all of our trees together. I still finished this one. This was the 6-inch. Hold on, I'll put them all together. Maybe here, let's glue on the 12 inches star. So you can see all 3 together. Let's see can I put this down yet? Yes. All right, it's dry. So as a final goodbye, I'll just glue this on. If you have any questions too, oh, and you can also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle for the craft side of the business right now is paintnight_ny, or there is my succulent shop. So it's my_succulent_shop. That's a popular page, or seascapes_maker. I have lots of pages. I don't know. I just like to try to keep niches all within their niches. This one would definitely be on Seascapes Maker because it is a Seascapes event. That's like a tongue twister. I don't know. All right, so I hope you'll have a great day, and I will maybe see you again. Tammy signing out. Bye-bye.